Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Module 5, Lesson 1, Research Design Fundamentals. Today's lesson is focused on this theme, the blueprint for discovery, connecting questions to evidence through strategic design. I'm excited to guide you through one of the most critical foundations of quality research. Just as an architect creates detailed blueprints before construction begins, researchers must design systematic plans before collecting data. Today, we'll explore how research design serves as your strategic blueprint for discovery. By the end of this lesson, you will achieve 3 specific learning objectives. First, you will define research design and its role in the research process. Second, you will identify the key components of effective research designs. And third, you will analyze how research design connects research questions to evidence. These objectives will provide you with both conceptual understanding and practical skills for creating robust research designs in your own work. What is research design? Research design is a structured blueprint, a systematic plan for collecting, analyzing, and interpreting data. It serves as the architectural framework that guides your entire research process. Research design has 3 key characteristics that distinguish it from casual inquiry. First, it is purposeful and intentional. Every decision serves a specific function. Second, it connects research questions to methods in explicit, logical ways. Third, it anticipates challenges and solutions before they arise. Think of research design as your comprehensive roadmap. It tells you not just where you're going, but exactly how you'll get there, what tools you'll need, and what obstacles you might encounter along the way. I want you to visualize research design using the bridge metaphor. Picture a bridge with your research questions and hypotheses on the left side. These represent everything you want to understand. On the right side, you have evidence and conclusions, the answers you seek. The bridge structure itself represents your research design components, working together to transport you safely from questions to evidence. Just as a strong bridge requires careful engineering, strong research requires thoughtful design. As the slide reminds us, a strong bridge requires careful engineering. So does strong research. Every effective research design contains these essential elements. Let me list them for you. Research questions and hypotheses, units of analysis and observation, sampling approaches, data collection methods, analytical strategies, and quality assurance mechanisms. Here's the crucial principle. Each component must work harmoniously with others. Like instruments in an orchestra, individual excellence isn't enough. The magic happens through coordinated integration. We'll examine each component individually, but remember, they function as an integrated system. Component 1 provides the foundation of your design, research questions and hypotheses. Research questions define what you want to know, while hypotheses state your predictions about relationships when appropriate. This component has profound design impact. It determines methodology selection, guides sampling decisions, influences data collection approaches, and shapes analytical strategies. Everything flows from this foundation. Consider this example from the slide. How do remote work policies affect employee productivity? Versus, what is the lived experience of remote workers? Same topic, completely different design requirements. The first suggests quantitative measurement. The second calls for qualitative exploration. Component 2 distinguishes between units of analysis and units of observation. Units of analysis define what or whom you're studying: individuals, groups, organizations, communities, texts, or events. Units of observation specify from whom or what you collect data. Importantly, these may be the same or different from units of analysis. The slide provides this helpful example. Studying organizational culture as your unit of analysis by interviewing individual employees as your units of observation. You're studying the organization, but gathering data from individuals within it. Component 3 addresses the fundamental question: who or what will you study? You begin with your population, the complete group of interest. Then you select your sample, the subset actually studied. Your sampling strategy determines how you select participants or cases. 4 design considerations guide your decisions: representativeness goals, resource constraints, access considerations, and ethical requirements. These factors often create tensions requiring careful balance in your design choices. Component 4 asks, how will you gather evidence? Your options include surveys and questionnaires, interviews and focus groups, observations, document analysis, physiological measures, and digital or technological methods. Your selection criteria should include alignment with research questions, participant characteristics, resource availability, and quality requirements. The method must serve your research purpose while fitting your practical constraints. Component 5 addresses how you will make sense of your data. For quantitative approaches, this means statistical analysis techniques. For qualitative approaches, you might employ thematic, content, or narrative analysis. For mixed methods, you need integration strategies. Here's the key principle from the slide. Analysis approach should be determined during design phase, not after data collection. You cannot retrofit analysis to data. Planning analysis up front affects what data you collect and how you collect it. Our final component asks, how will you ensure trustworthy results? This involves 3 key concepts. Validity asks, are you measuring what you think you're measuring? Reliability asks, are your measures consistent? Trustworthiness asks, are your findings credible and dependable? Built-in safeguards include pilot testing, multiple measures, peer review, and transparent documentation. These mechanisms prevent problems rather than merely detecting them after they occur. Different research paradigms prioritize different design elements. Quantitative design priorities include control and standardization, generalizability, objectivity and replicability, and statistical power. Qualitative design priorities emphasize depth and understanding, context and meaning, flexibility and emergence, and authenticity and credibility. Mixed methods priorities focus on integration and complementarity, comprehensive understanding, and methodological diversity. Understanding these priorities helps align your design choices with your research goals and philosophical stance. Here's a crucial insight. Research design is not linear. The slide shows a circular or spiral diagram illustrating this iterative process. Initial questions generate design ideas. Design options lead to evaluating alternatives. Refining choices considers constraints. Pilot testing gathers feedback. Revising design incorporates learning, and implementation continues monitoring and adaptation. As the slide states, great designs emerge through thoughtful iteration. Excellence comes from cycling through improvements, not from single moments of inspiration. Question type influences design choice, as this slide's table demonstrates. Descriptive questions like, what are the characteristics of, typically use survey or observational designs. Relational questions like, how are X and Y related, suggest correlational or comparative approaches. Causal questions like, does X cause Y, require experimental or quasi-experimental designs. Exploratory questions like, what is the experience of, call for qualitative or case study methods. This table provides guidance, not rigid rules, for connecting questions to appropriate methodological approaches. When choosing between design alternatives, apply these key evaluation criteria from the slide. Feasibility, can it be implemented with available resources? Ethics, does it protect participant welfare? Validity, will it produce credible findings? Efficiency, is it the most effective approach? Significance, will findings be meaningful? These criteria often create tensions. The most rigorous design may not be the most feasible. Good design involves navigating these tensions thoughtfully. Let's examine typical issues researchers face. The slide identifies resource limitations versus ideal design, access restrictions to participants or data, ethical constraints on methods, time pressures affecting quality, and competing validity demands. Strategic responses include creative adaptation strategies, phased implementation approaches, collaborative partnerships, and alternative methodology selection. These challenges are normal parts of research. Anticipating them enables better responses. How do you recognize strong research design? The slide provides these signs: clear alignment between all components, appropriate methods for research questions, realistic resource and timeline planning, proactive quality assurance measures, ethical considerations integrated throughout, and transparent documentation of decisions. These indicators help evaluate both your own designs and research you encounter in the literature. Let's examine a case study preview from the slide. The research question is, how effective are mindfulness interventions in reducing workplace stress among healthcare workers? This question creates specific design implications. Experimental or quasi-experimental approach, healthcare worker sampling, stress measurement tools, intervention implementation planning, and control group considerations. Notice how one research question cascades into multiple design decisions across all 6 components we discussed. The slide presents 3 self-reflection questions. First, how would you characterize the relationship between research questions and research design? Second, what design elements do you find most challenging to conceptualize in your area of interest? Third, how might your philosophical stance influence your approach to research design? Take a moment to consider these questions. Coming up in our next lesson, we'll explore basic versus applied research designs and how research purpose shapes design decisions. Let me share the key takeaways from this lesson. First, research design is your systematic blueprint for investigation. Second, all components must work together harmoniously. Third, design decisions should be purposeful and well-reasoned. Fourth, good design anticipates challenges and builds in safeguards. Fifth, the design process is iterative and benefits from multiple perspectives. The slide concludes with this important reminder. Thoughtful design is the foundation of meaningful research. I want to conclude by emphasizing why research design matters so profoundly. Without proper design, you encounter weak or unreliable findings, wasted resources and time, inability to answer research questions, and ethical concerns about participant burden. These represent real costs to researchers, participants, and society. With thoughtful design, you achieve credible, trustworthy results, efficient use of resources, clear pathway to answers, and ethical protection of participants. This transformation happens through mastering research design fundamentals. The concepts we've covered today aren't merely academic theory, they're practical tools determining whether your research succeeds or fails. Your research questions deserve designs worthy of them. Your participants deserve research honoring their contribution through excellence. The field deserves findings that can be trusted and built upon. Research design fundamentals provide the pathway to achieving all of this. As we progress through this module, we'll build on these fundamentals to explore specific design types and approaches. Each lesson will deepen your ability to create research designs that are methodologically sound and genuinely meaningful. Thank you for your attention. I look forward to our continued exploration of research design excellence in the lessons ahead.